Hello, people. My name is Ishita, and I'm the host of this podcast, Muffin Tales. If you're here for the first time, hi, welcome, and thank you for clicking on the video. Just stay for a few minutes and see if you like it or not. And a quick tip, just plug in your earphones or connect your headphones. And let's begin, shall we? Starting the episode with honesty. To be really honest with you right now, I debated a lot with myself as to what should be the topic for the next episode. Because the thoughts that were going in my mind were that it's February, it's going to be the last episode for this month, and it's a month of love. I don't agree at all, which was why I was confused. But then I thought ki it's February, last episode for this month. Let's just do it. Let's just go with the flow. So here I am going with the flow. Lately, talking about self-love and practicing it has grown immensely over the past few years. From Ms. Bhumi, actress in Dum Laga Ke Haisha. I won't be saying her surname because I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah, so from Ms. Bhumi saying that self-love needs to be expressed each day, every day, to some other folks telling you to fall in love with yourself a little. Here I am talking about these two words with a hyphen in between. A quick little English lesson. Why do we use a hyphen? A hyphen is usually used to glue words together. The former word acts as a modifier for the latter word. So, the word self is modifying the word love. And from that we get self-love. Love thyself, love of self. Self-love is about getting to know yourself a little. Taking care of yourself, believing yourself, just thinking about yourself. We know what people think about us, or at least we care what people think about us. But what we should focus or care about is what we think about ourselves. Whether the version of ourselves is the version that we like, or whether we want to create an entirely different version of ourselves that we are probably going to like. All these things, for your own betterment, you are the best judge. You should remember that your voice is the voice, rest of it just noise. In the movie Jab We Met, there is this famous dialogue said by a character named Geet. She goes, मैं अपनी favorite हूँ. That's just it. That sentence is all I will be saying about self-love. While I was doing a research on this topic, I got to know something which I didn't know. It was that self-love oftentimes is considered selfish. But what I knew already is, and what I'm telling you guys is, that loving yourself is not and will never be selfish. Loving yourself doesn't mean that you will not be giving love to others. In fact, self love makes you empathetic towards people, animals, plants, and the whole world. Just love yourself first, believe yourself first, take care of yourself first, then share it with others. Become so strong both physically and mentally that things like failure in studies, career, love, relationship, or even in life doesn't make you envious or jealous, but makes you motivated, full of energy, and a little bit uplifted. And this is what self love does. I know it does. Why? Because it did to me. Story time. I don't know why, but I'm so excited to share my love story with you guys. My love story of falling in love with myself. I fell in love with myself 5 years ago when I was in my 11th class. The reason behind the beginning of this love story was that I was finally going to study the subjects that I had interest in, that I wanted to learn, explore, and know those subjects. Also, in my schooling, or when I was in my school, I had no Instagram, no personal phone, just a Facebook account that remained deactivated mostly. So I found joy in my studies and started loving them, which was why for those 2 years I was quite satisfied. Now, like any other story, like any other love story, mine too had a villain named Maths. So now the love story had a protagonist, me, villain named Maths, and heroes, the other remaining subjects. FYI, I had no other option but to choose Maths because the degree I wanted to pursue in the future, for that degree Maths was compulsory. So yeah, I basically lived with 4 heroes and 1 villain for 2 years. Alright. In those 2 years, I experienced my first heartbreak, my first decision that I needed to make, and it was eventful. First heartbreak was actually the farewell with the villain, aka Maths. That farewell was not what I expected. It was tearful and disappointing. I don't think I have told anyone about this except my family, of course, because they witnessed it. But yeah, I was full on weeping, like crying, literally crying after my board examination. The result was very, very disappointing. But then again, at the age of 17, I needed to make a decision, which I did. I messed up one of my subjects, and I was not going to mess up the others. I didn't. I did brilliantly in the other subjects. I even came out smiling, full on smiling from the examination center in all the other exams. But yeah, that moving on from the disastrous maths paper to a wonderful accounts paper was a beautiful, beautiful experience. फर्स्ट हार्ट ब्रेक हो गया, विलन को बाय बोल दिया, टाटा. थोड़ी सी खुशियाँ भी आ गई. I got my phone and I made an Instagram account. The love story continued. No dramas, alright. Life goes on and stuff. Then, in the second year of college, when you probably need to start getting serious, that was the time we hit a rough patch. A rough patch because of overconfidence, distractions, expectations. I was no longer doing stuff that I wanted to do, and it was all about the routine. The routine which went for 2 years. I am my favorite person. I am. And I wanted that to take importance again, which I did with baby steps. 2020 was actually a very good helper in that part of my journey. Detoxing from social media for some time, taking care of myself, going on walk, discovering the taste of green tea, which I think both my mind and body loves. I love green tea. So yeah, we spent a lot of time together. I made some apologies and we just ended up communicating well. And now we are continuing on this train of self-love. The reason why I shared this love story with you guys is to tell you guys that self-love is not a definite thing. It's a journey of falling in love with yourself. Want to start the journey soon? So, first, get to know yourself a little better. Acknowledge your flaws. Accept them. Love your imperfections, your uniqueness. Set the expectations not for others but for yourself. But at the same time, don't be too harsh. Connect and know when to take a break and pamper yourself a little. You may not love yourself today, maybe not even tomorrow, but at some point in life, there will come a time that you will realize that the greatest and most honest love you can give to someone is yourself. Now, the movie I mentioned in the starting of the episode, Jab We Met, if you have watched it, you probably know what Anshuman did, and if you haven't watched it, go and watch the movie. It's nice, it's funny, it's real, it's full of songs. Yeah, I gave you 4 points, so just go and watch the movie. And then you'll understand what I'm talking about. So, for the people who have watched the movie, we all know what Anshuman did and how drastically the personality of Geet changed. And if currently you are in a similar situation, I don't care whether you are the Anshuman or a Geet, if the gender is reversed or whatever, both of you need to start to love yourself. If you are probably Geet, then don't just sit and wait for Aditya. Get up and be your own Aditya. Who cares that you are again going back to the starting line of this thing called love? It's loving your own self. You are going to love yourself first and then the other people. Start fresh. Because why not? It's 2021. It's a year of new beginnings. Start by loving your own self. Lastly, how to love your own self? Well, according to what I read in the newspaper on February 14, and just a quick note that every year there is a section about self-love in the newspaper, and if you are celebrating self-love on February 14, you should check that out. It's beautiful. So, coming back to it, what the newspaper said to love your own self, listen, believe, evolve, indulge, forgive, and nurture. That is, listen to yourself, believe in yourself, evolve yourself. Matlab, accept changes, be the change, and that sort of thing. Indulge yourself a little, pamper yourself a little, forgive yourself. Don't be too hard, guys. Forgive yourself. Finally, nurture yourself. Take care of yourself. Because when you finally start taking care of yourself, you may forward it to the world or to the other people. Like charity begins at home, love begins at home, kindness begins at home, and your body and mind are your home. So this year, take a pledge to love your own self. अगर इतना सा भी पसंद आया हो or you resonated with what I said, do share, because I think the world could use some self-loving. Thank you for listening. Exo. This time it felt right.